Alright guys, Manchester City have just absolutely battered Chelsea by 4 goals to 0 in the FA Cup third round, and yeah, so easy for Man City. Chelsea offered no real fight really until about 10 minutes to go, when City had literally just zoned out at this point because they were that far in front. Chelsea got a couple of shots off, but nothing that was ever really going to trouble Ortega, and Ortega didn't really have anything to do throughout this game. And yeah, City, it was good football, don't get me wrong, some brilliant goals. The first one, Mahrez, the free kick. It's a perfect distance to have a free kick from, but the way he executed it was superb. Got it perfect. It's one of them positions where he doesn't really need to get any dip on it, because the length, the distance of how far away it is means that it's just going to automatically go down a little bit. It's never going to rise that far unless he hits it with unbelievable power. But it was a super free kick nonetheless. And the second goal through Alvarez, I mean, it's just you know, poor. I think poor is the correct word to describe the Kai Havertz handball from the corner, because what's going through his head in that situation, I just can't even imagine it, because Laporte's coming on to head it, and if Havertz doesn't punch it, then yeah, Laporte's going to get his head on it and it might go in. There's a fair chance either Kepa saves it or it goes off target. But if you handball it with VAR, even if it's well disguised, VAR will pick up on it, and then it's a 70% chance that Man City will score from the penalty. And yeah, when Alvarez went up to take it, I wanted him to score. I don't like Man City, but just Kepa, what he does, his antics, he's the lowest of the low in terms of people that have a right to be arrogant during penalty kicks, because in the past, in Carabao, in English Cups specifically, he's embarrassed himself. In the League Cup in 2019, in that final against Man City, so in this very fixture, he made a muppet of himself in that by refusing to be substituted when having cramp as a goalkeeper and then failing to save penalties. And then even like 10 months ago against Liverpool, failing to save 11 penalties that came up against him and missing the crucial penalty when his team scored all 10 of theirs. Why? And he even, tried his antics in that. Why would you do it? Alvarez tucks it away right into the bottom corner. To make it even sweeter, Kepa gets a hand to it but didn't keep it out. I just not a massive fan of the way Kepa carries himself. It just seems like a bit of a self-unaware muppet is the phrase I would use. And yeah, Alvarez makes it 2-0, and then shortly after, Foden finished off a fantastic team goal, including some great build-up play from left to right. Mahrez playing it through to Walker pulling it back, and Foden just sweeping it into the net. Brilliant team goal, and yeah, summed up Manchester City's dominance in this half, because Chelsea, going forward, offered absolutely nothing. Their attack just doesn't seem that threatening. Mount and Gallagher, they're good players, but they're not the sort of players you want to be relying on in your attack when going forward. They're midfielders. They're not attackers basically. And Ziyech and Havertz are two players who are very inconsistent and didn't turn up today. Havertz was poor in both ends, defensively and attacking. Ziyech just didn't offer enough really. So yeah, it was a very poor attacking performance from Chelsea. The midfield and defending wasn't much better either. Again, City just found it too easy to control the midfield with their three of Rodri, Foden and Bernardo Silva, like largely overpowering Jorginho and Kovacic. And yeah, Chelsea's defence wasn't too great either. And I actually thought going into this game, stupidly enough, that Chelsea might have a chance, because I thought they didn't do too badly against Man City on Thursday. In fact, it was a fairly even game, and they had a weakened side then. In this game, the only two spots in the team where you look, okay, Man City might have a bit of success there, given that Man City didn't start their completely best 11, was the fullbacks, where they had two young, well, in the end Humphreys played centre-back, but where they had Humphreys and Hall. But they were two of Chelsea's better players today, I thought, to be honest. So yeah, really disappointing performance from Chelsea. Second half, they subbed on Fofana and Zakaria at half time, and yeah, that made midfield a bit more compact and solid and harder for Man City to break them down. But I think at that point, Man City just sort of said, yeah, we've got the tie in the bag. We're through to the next round. We'll be playing Arsenal or Oxford. So Man City didn't really push forward from that point onwards, and yeah, Chelsea just they got forward a couple of times towards the end, but couldn't really do anything with it. And yeah, in the end, Man City managed to grab a fourth through a Riyad Mahrez penalty after, again, another poor decision from Kalidou Koulibaly to bring down Phil Foden unnecessarily. And yeah, Mahrez scored the penalty, and yeah, if it wasn't 99.9999999% sure that Man City would go through into the next round, it was 100% sure after that penalty. And yeah, just poor from Chelsea. And I want to talk about Graham Potter, because I don't feel it's been a great start from at Chelsea. I don't think many people do, but I think if Chelsea sack Graham Potter, I think that would be a very bad decision, because the guy is a smart man. He knows how to build a football club up. He's done it on 2 or 3 occasions. And Chelsea just need to accept they might have a couple-year period of relative mediocrity compared to what they have been for the past 20 years or so. And that should be fine. If they want to stop this fate, this constant thing of right, we'll have a manager come in for 18 months, 2 years, and then we'll get rid of him. If they want to become a club that has an identity of having a manager that has built a great team and keeps that team, and changes a couple players each season, if they want that, they've got to just ride it through and deal with it. Because Graham Potter isn't going to make Chelsea any worse than what they are now, in my opinion. It's just, you need to give Graham Potter a transfer window in the summer to get who he wants in, improve them, get the team working how he wants. People need to remember that Brighton, in Graham Potter's first 2 years at Brighton, they were a mid-table team at best, really. And it's only over the past 18 months or so that Brighton have become the team that are pushing for a European spot that they are right now. But yeah, anyway, City was superb. They just handled everything with class like they usually do. But we'll get into player ratings. So we'll start with Man City. Ortega I've given a 6 because he didn't make any mistakes and he had bugger all to do. Defence, Walker, Akanji and Gomez I've given 6s because, again, it was too easy for them. Walker, actually I might up Walker to a 7 because of his involvement in that third goal. So yeah, I'll up Walker to a 7. Laporte I've given a 7. I just thought he was the one that stood out to me in defence, on the ball, brilliant. And then midfield, Silva and Foden I've given 7s. They were just superb at linking up and joining in on attacks. Foden got his goal, Silva ran the show at times. And Rodri I've given a 6 because he came off at the hour mark. And yeah, he didn't have a huge job to do because Chelsea weren't really getting forward, so he didn't have much to break up. It was just a case of receive the ball, move it on sort of thing. And then in attack, Mahrez, I've given him man of the match. That free kick was stupendous, and took a good penalty as well. And his all-round game was really good as well. Involved in, I think he was involved in the third goal as well. So yeah, really good all-round performance. Alvarez have given a 7. Scored his penalty. I think he gets involved in the build-up for Man City a bit more than Erling Haaland does. So I think that's a positive you get with Alvarez. However, obviously there are some things that Haaland has which Alvarez doesn't. Palmer I've given a 6 because out of the attacking three, I think he was the one who maybe wasn't constantly, creating chances. And the one big chance he did have, he had the opportunity to square it to Alvarez, where it would have been almost a certain goal, or it might have been Foden. But he decided to take it on himself. I think it might have still been 0-0 at this point as well. And didn't score when he should have squared it. If you're not going to square it, you've got to make sure you score. Otherwise, you might get a bit of criticism. But yeah, he didn't have a bad game by a long stretch. And then subs, Phillips and Cancelo, they came on and didn't have a lot to do, so I've given both of them 6s. Then on to Chelsea, Kepa I've given a 5. The Mahrez free kick and the penalties, there's not a lot you can really do with them, but it's just the antics before the Alvarez penalty. I shouldn't have let that affect my judgment, but he did let in 4 goals as well, so you got to take that into account, I guess. Chalobah and Hall, the 2 fullbacks, I've given 6s because I didn't think they did much wrong, to be honest. They were just up against a brilliant Man City side, and I don't think they made any mistakes. Whereas the 2 centre backs, Humphreys and Koulibaly, I thought they were just a little bit too porous, and Koulibaly didn't have to make that foul at the end for the 4th goal. He should have positioned himself better up against Foden. And then midfield, Gallagher I've given a 6. I think out of all of Chelsea's midfield and attack, he was the one who, he didn't give up. He constantly ran for the team. Didn't manage to get on the ball too much, but he still put in a lot of effort, even if it didn't really work well for him today. So I've given him a 6. Jorginho and Kovacic I've given a 5. They were just outpassed and outclassed, really, to sum it up neatly. And then the front 3 at the start of the game, Ziyech I've given a 5, Mount I've given a 5, just very little impact. In fact, a guy who I was watching the game with just said it after about 30 minutes, oh, Mount's playing, is he? So that's not great, really. And then Havertz I've given a 4 because, again, like Ziyech and Mount, he offered nothing going forward, but on top of that, he did make a big error for the 2nd goal, and I just don't see what he was thinking at the time. And then the 2 subs at half-time, Fofana and Zakaria, I've given both 6s because they helped shore up the midfield for sure, and stop Man City from potentially making this if it wasn't a demolition already, a complete demolition, talking 5 or 6. So yeah, they had a bit of a positive impact for Chelsea, but yeah, just a poor performance from Chelsea. But thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.